Hey guys, I normally don't put out two videos in the same day. This morning I released 4.0 righty versus 4.5 lefty. As I announced in previous videos, I'm going to feature a lot more matches in 2025 on the Intuitive Tennis YouTube channel, including myself. But I had to react to Sinner's destruction over Ruud. I cannot believe that Ruud only got one game. I don't even think that Ruud played a poor match necessarily. Yes, he wasn't at his best, but he didn't really make that many unforced errors. Yes, he sprayed a couple of forehands here and there, but this performance from Sinner was one of the best ones that I've ever seen, if not the best one. There's absolutely nothing that Ruud could have done in this match, and he's quite lucky to have gotten that one game in the second set. This match could have been 6-0, 6-0 for Sinner. And that's insane if you think about it, because Casper Ruud is one of the best clay court players in the world. He just won Madrid, two-time French Open finalist, and Sinner absolutely destroyed him. Now, in the post-match press conference, Sinner did say that the conditions suited him because they played at night, and during the day, Ruud's top spin ball is going to bounce a little bit higher. And both of these guys are class acts. After getting beaten 0-1, Casper Ruud was smiling when he shook hands with Sinner at the net. And Sinner was also very respectful after the match, saying that when he went up 2-0 in the second set, he had chances to go up 3-0, a double break, but he didn't convert on those break points. Casper Ruud won his only game, and Sinner said that that match could have flipped at that particular moment, but I think he was just being nice. He was absolutely overpowering Casper Ruud. And I expected Sinner to be rusty in this match. Maybe not in the very first match, but maybe in the second or third one. And the only poor segment of a match was against De Jong, where Sinner was up a double break 4-1 in the first set and then lost the serve twice. But even there, he cleaned up his game real quick against Cerundolo. It was a very tough first set. Cerundolo is such a great player on all surfaces, but especially on clay. And as Sinner said in the post-match press conference, he gained a lot of confidence from those first three matches, and he's now finding his best tennis. And there's absolutely nothing that I can think of that should prevent Sinner to be as dominant on clay as he is on hard court. Super impressive tournament from Tommy Paul. I was already impressed with him for winning a couple of matches in Madrid. That was his first clay court tournament. He did play in Houston, where he reached the semifinals. But Tommy played such a good tournament here in Rome, making it all the way to the semis. But what do you do to get the victory over Sinner? In the match against Navona, Jimmy Arias was commentating, and he was trying to find solutions for Navona in this match. And it's so tough against Sinner because a lot of players come out and they want to be aggressive against Sinner, because if they're not, they're going to get blown off the court. The guy has the best combination of control and power that I've seen since Roger Federer on the forehand side and Novak Djokovic on the backhand side. He also has incredible defense on both sides. So a lot of players are forced to play overly aggressive, maybe more aggressive than they're used to. And naturally, they're going to commit a lot of mistakes. And if they play their normal game, they're going to get blasted off the court. So it's a huge challenge facing Sinner. And it is my belief that the only guy that has enough of a repertoire on clay to challenge Sinner is Carlos Alcaraz, because he can match the Sinner power off the ground, but he can also mix things up and maybe try to break Sinner's rhythm. It's going to be super interesting to see if these guys meet in the final. My gut feeling is that Sinner is going to win this tournament, and I'm putting him as a favorite for the French Open. But Carlos Alcaraz is playing the best clay court season of his career. Prior to the clay court season starting, I thought that Carlos Alcaraz was going to go on a clay court rampage, and he was very close. He won Monte Carlo, made the final of Barcelona, and now he's in the semifinals of Rome. Is he playing his absolute best tennis? No. I thought that he played some of his best tennis in the early rounds in Barcelona, but in Monte Carlo and even here in Rome, he's playing well, but there are still some portions of the match where he goes away a little bit. And of course, the fact that he's winning a lot of matches is going to grow his confidence. And I do think that Carlos Alcaraz has the ability to challenge Sinner. But again, I think Sinner is just simply too strong for anyone, despite the fact that he hasn't played on tour in 3 months. A while back, I made a video titled Italian Problems. I was talking about Djokovic losing to Sinner in the 2023 Davis Cup match where he had 3 consecutive match points. He lost that match, and that was the beginning of Sinner going towards the top and also the beginning of the decline of Djokovic. Of course, Djokovic did win the Olympics that next year, but still, I felt that was a very crucial match. Now, Djokovic ended up losing to Nardi in Indian Wells, and that's when I came up with the title Italian Problems. But a lot of players have Italian problems because it's not only Sinner. Musetti has played such an amazing clay court season. Final of Monte Carlo, semifinals of Madrid, and now again semifinals of Rome, where he's facing a lot of pressure. And I thought that Zverev, after the Munich tournament, found his game. I was super impressed with Zverev beating Fils in the round of 16, and I had a feeling that Zverev might beat Musetti in this one. But if you watch that match, you know that Zverev lost that match at the mental level. He should have never lost that first set, up 6-5, 40 love on his own serve. Can you imagine being able to serve that fast and not converting that set? That's going to hurt, mentally speaking. But I think Zverev's problems go much deeper than his tennis. He has to make a huge change. I don't know what exactly that is, but it has to be a shift in his mindset. Because what he said in the post-match interview about Musetti, I absolutely don't agree with. He said that Musetti is more of a defensive player and he depends on the mistakes of the opponents. And he also was complaining about the balls in Rome that were very heavy. So first of all, he won Rome last year. I don't know if they changed the balls, but obviously the conditions suit Zverev. And I've watched a lot of Musetti in this last month. And this guy is by no means a defensive player. He can absolutely blast that serve 130 miles an hour plus. He can rip forehand and backhand winners. He's also very versatile and was killing Zverev with a lot of forehand drop shots. Zverev also continues to get triggered by interviewers who are asking him legitimate questions where he then gives snappy answers. So something happened to Zverev after that Australian Open match. He has to make a huge mental change. He is a shadow of a player that he was only 5-6 months ago. And this is a great opportunity for Musetti to get a win over Alcaraz because Alcaraz is going to have Italian problems. That crowd is going to be insane and it's going to be tough to play against. Also, when Musetti played Alcaraz in the Monte Carlo final, he played really well winning that first set, but he then got hurt. So this is a rematch for Musetti, and I think he's going to have his chances to win. But everybody, including myself, wants to see a Sinner Alcaraz final. That would be absolutely amazing. But if Sinner ends up playing Musetti in the final, that's going to be exciting too. I also want to give a shout out to the WTA players. There were so many incredible matches on the WTA tour. Peyton Stearns won 3 consecutive matches, 7-6 in the third, beating Keys, Osaka, and Svitolina. I watched all of those matches. Unbelievable fights. And how about Coco Gauff making the second consecutive WTA 1000 final? In the semis, she beat Zheng 7-6 in the third. The Coco Gauff forehand on clay is so heavy. There is so much spin on that thing. She also hits it fast. She's serving well. With the Swiatek situation right now, we don't know how Iga is going to perform at the French. I think Coco is going to have her chances to take the French Open title. But Coco Gauff, just like many other players, is going to have Italian problems in the final because she faces Paolini, who's had a resurgence in this tournament. Of course, last year she played unbelievable, making the final of the French and Wimbledon. And then towards the end of the year, or even this year, there was a little bit of a drop-off. But she found her form. She's unbelievably dangerous on the clay. And that women's final is going to be a fun one to watch.